Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at the 2023 Ford F250 SuperDuty. This model is finished off in iconic silver with an MSRP just shy of $80,000. Huge shout out to Mooresville Ford for providing this massive truck for me today. Be sure to check out their website. That link is down in the description. Underneath the hood, you'll find the 6.7 liter Powerstroke Diesel V8 that's paired to the 10-speed automatic transmission, pumping out 475 horsepower, 1,050 pound-feet of torque. This also weighs in right around 7,300 pounds. Its fuel capacity is 34 gallons. This also has the short wheelbase. It's just under 160 inches. The overall length is 250. It has a height of 81.6. The width is 80 inches. It has ground clearance of 9.2 inches. And it also has an approach angle of 26.7 degrees, a breakover angle of 21.9, and a departure angle of 21.1 degrees. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this SuperDuty, let's start off with the biggest change for the 23-year model, and that is the headlight design. Take a look at the DRL, which is the outer strip, which is still similar to the previous model, but now there's a split with the headlights, high beams, turn signals right in the middle, and then the trim piece from the grille weaves its way in between all of those and then goes back to the grille to the opposite side. So it's a really cool integration, a little bit different than the previous model. Everything else is very similar. Ford badge right in the center with the forward facing camera, plenty of cutouts in that grille too. SuperDuty is also stamped at the edge of the hood, which is nothing new and a cool touch to see. Body colored for the lower section of the bumper, where there's also fog lights on both sides. Tow hooks, there's also a gap right behind that front tag there to provide even more cooling. Cutouts are just above the lower section of that bumper. It does have the front air dam just to help better improve with aerodynamics. If you are buying this truck, you are not focused on MPG. This is a workhorse to tow, so it can help benefit a little bit with those aerodynamics, but that's not the main purpose of this truck. Still good bulges coming down both sides of that hood. As we work our way to the side, this model has a really nice set of 20-inch wheels. They have that multi-spoke design to them with gloss black on that center cap, and I think it's a good two-tone look, especially against this iconic silver. The F250 badge is finished off in matte black with XLT just above that. This has a set of fixed running boards to make it much easier to enter and exit this. It is a tall truck, so that's definitely helpful. Now the side mirrors are telescoping, so I will show that later. They move out, so if you have a trailer, it gives you some better visibility. They have a spotlight and a turn signal too. This has the moonroof up top, and then all of the black trim, body colored door handles. I have to move away from this truck to get the entire truck in frame. It is a massive vehicle. Really nice lines running down the side too. I like this one. Goes all the way to just in front of that back tire. And then this does have a side bed step, so you can easily gain access from the front of the bed if you have some items up in the front section there, of course. And then this has the dual side exit exhaust, which is over on that passenger side. And finishing up in the rear, SuperDuty is also stamped right in the middle of this tailgate. There's the backup camera with the release. All of the sensors are in the body colored bumper. This even has another step on both sides with a small grab handle up top, so that way you can enter from the back as needed. Being a work truck, it's very nice to have that accessibility. Now this also has LED taillights and a towing capacity up to 22,000 pounds. I'm sure you could put in the gooseneck option if you need to tow a little bit more, and the payload is just under 4,000 pounds. So if you need a work truck, this is definitely the one to go with. Now let's start this up because it does have remote start. We can hear that diesel come to life very quickly, and if you need to shut it off for whatever reason, you can double tap on that again, and then you can also use the key fob to open up the tailgate. So it will lower very slowly, and now we can take a look at the massive bed. There's some areas for tie down hooks. There's also dome lights, which you can turn on and off, so you have no shortage of space for any items that you would like to place in the back. Now at the edge of the tailgate, there is a ruler, so you can use it as needed. And then this is nothing new, but Ford has their integrated step. So I'll just pull it out like that. From there, we can lock the handle in place, and then you can easily enter and exit the bed a third way if needed. So if you are using this every single day, it makes it much easier, less stressful. You do have to use 2 hands to do this, but I can get it with one there. It's a little bit less stressful than jumping 3 or 4 feet up and down every single time. And even with that, it's a lightweight tailgate, so it is easy to close. So now as we walk our way all the way up to these back seats, we can take a look at the interior for this XLT, where this has leather on the armrest. There's a really cool brushed trim accent, some wood trim just above that small cup holder. There's also a split design for the storage. So you get a lot in the lower section and a little bit more usable space above that. This also has the Bang & Olufsen sound system. And then for the seats, we have the two-tone for these cloth seats, which is a good design. Now there's also hidden storage space underneath these seats. So all I have to do is lift this bottom up. I can lock it into place. You can do that on both sides as well. And there's even a tray that you can fold and collapse if you need a little bit more space. So just depending on if you want to hide items under the seat or you need that extra storage space, you can do that 2 different ways. Makes it very versatile for the size of this truck, and it's very easy to lower the seats back down. Now with the grab handle and the side step at 5'10", it is very easy to enter the back seats. Now look at the amount of space that I have with the front seat set at my height. There is so much legroom for items to be placed there. There's also a storage pocket behind both front seats, 2 cup holders in the middle. We have some auxiliaries located in the middle and down below with 2 additional air vents. And at 5'10", I have 4 or 5 inches above my head. If you're using this as a work truck, which I have personally seen, and you're bringing other guys job site to job site, you have other people that you want to put in the back, or you're just using this for a family vehicle, you have tons of space for 3 people and full-size adults to be in the back. Now this does have the electronic sliding rear window that you can open and close as needed. And then a ton of light is provided in this interior, which is very, very nice. Now up front, door panels finished off just like the rear. There's all the window adjustments, side mirror adjustments. Like I mentioned earlier with the telescoping mirrors, that is the control for that. So when you have a trailer, that gives you a lot more visibility, which is helpful. There's lock and unlock, and then that same split design for the door panel. We have the power operated and manual adjusting front seats with the cloth design again. And your front passengers also get a grab handle. So it's easy to get into all 4 seats, which is nice. Now for the steering wheel, it is finished in this material here. It is not leather for the XLT. There's a trim piece just underneath that. And then on the left side, there's cruise control settings with the lane keeping assist, volume, and Bluetooth. On the right side, there's tuning, some more Bluetooth controls, and all of these are for the gauge cluster. So let's fire the SuperDuty back up. And you will see that graphic both there and the quick one in the middle. And now we can move on to the digital gauge cluster. So on the left side is the tach, right side is the miles per hour, and then there's also fixed information running across the top like fuel and oil temperature and a few other vitals. And then right in the middle, it is currently showing all of the seats. So if we buckle up, we can see that disappear. But right now I will just click on menu so we can go into My View. My View is basically your shortcuts or what you can customize. So currently it had the driver assistance with the calm screen there, and then some trip information, TPMS, and then you can also configure this as well. Now if we go back, we can go into some more of those in a larger view and look at some more info like the trip information. If I go into gauges, there's general measurements. So there are a lot of vitals that you can go through and monitor as needed. If we go back into gauges, we can go into the diesel measurements now. And basically I just went through all of those in that one screen. So you can get into those quicker if you need to. There's also the off-road tab, which is why I mentioned those specs earlier. So you can go into your status, look at your pitch and roll along with the transfer case there. You probably won't be taking this off-road hardcore, but I'm sure it'll see gravel and some other situations like that. You can go into towing, there's status and information, navigation and your phone, audio, vehicle maintenance, and then status. So if we go back to settings, I should say, you can go into that and configure that as needed. So there's actually quite a lot of information to go through within that gauge cluster setting. Now over on the right side, this is actually the stock to put the vehicle into drive. So you can also put it into reverse, of course, just by pulling it down one. And now we can talk about the camera system real quick. So there's the backup camera with the top-down view on that right side. And then if I expand this, now we have a few different angles just depending on what you need to see. There's a bed angle too, so if you have any cargo, you can monitor that. And there's even a trailer one with the side view mirrors. You can actually change this angle, so if you need to see a little bit wider, it is very nice to have this as your spotter basically, which is impressive to see. Drive is going to be all the way down, of course, and then the last one is manual, so you can use plus and minus to go through those 10 gears. If you are towing, that definitely makes it very helpful, and you can push that button on the end to get into that as well. Now on the left side of the steering wheel, these are the spotlights for the side view mirrors. Like I mentioned earlier, you can open up the tailgate. There's all the headlight and fog light adjustments, along with the cargo light, and the e-brake is located just underneath that. Now, as we work our way to the middle, you'll see a little bit of storage space with another speaker for that Bang & Olufsen sound system. And then running across the top of this nav screen, there's the engine braking, along with a shortcut to the camera system, hazards, traction control, and even a downhill assist control, which is pretty neat. Now, on the main screen, there's all these icons like your vehicle, clock, you can add your phone, go into the navigation, there's displays. You even have your valet mode, and there's some other apps and connectivity that you can go into. In the lower section, there's shortcuts to your audio and phone. You can pull up the nav in full screen. There's a favorites in the middle, along with apps and settings. You can go into some other features like the zone lighting. Basically, this will take the headlights, it will take the side mirrors, and the tail lights as well. And you can turn on all of these lights. So if you're working at nighttime, you have no shortage of being in the dark. You can turn on all these lights, which is pretty awesome. And then over on the right side with the split screen, I can use these arrows to further go through some of this information. You can pull up your off-road, look at the fuel economy, your trip information. If I get into a navigation now, if you want to swap these, simply just drag it over. Now we have nav in full screen, and what was there, which was audio, is now on that screen there. So it's pretty cool to see that. You have another way that you can scroll through this information as needed. So I really like that split design. Now on the left side is the Pro Trailer system. So if you've never backed up before or you need some assistance, that will basically turn the wheel for you, and you can just turn that in the direction that you need to go. Underneath that, there's the trailer braking system, along with the four-wheel drive modes. This even has a rear locker, which is cool to see. And right in the middle, power and volume for the radio, there's tuning. You even have a few different ways you can have this center screen. More of a calm screen with the date and the time, and you can shut it completely off if you would like to. There's tuning in the middle, along with some other volume controls, and then all of the AC adjustments. Fan speed is on the left side, temperature is on the right. Where you'd like the air to go is in the middle, along with the controls for the heated seats. There's even some auxiliaries located on this passenger side. There's a lot of storage space in the lower section with some other auxiliaries, so you can charge electronics, place your phone maybe in this smaller area right there. There's two cup holders on the right side, and then on the left side, a massive amount of space where you can put even more items. You can even slide this over if you need two more additional cup holders. So that is pretty cool to see. It is also in line with these cup holders, so it looks like a normal trim piece, but then when you need more, awesome to have that transition. Now there's also a lot of storage space up underneath on both sides if you need to place some more items. And then the glove box has a massive amount of storage. There is this removable tray, so you can move that out of the way. There's some more auxiliaries where you can charge more electronics. So you have a lot of space up front, including two more areas for the glove boxes. So there's a small one up top where you can place some info, and then the normal one down below where you have a lot more interior space. We'll take a look at visibility from the driver's seat. Very open feeling. So it's a massive truck, but it is easy to see around, and with the camera system, that's definitely beneficial. Now up top in the roof, we have all of these auxiliaries. So you're using this as a work truck, you have some compressors, some other tools that you have, even extra lights if you need it. You have a factory area to hook all those up and have it nice and clean. There's a sunglass holder too. This is how you operate the window in the back. And then there's the dome lights on both sides. As we set off now behind the wheel for the all-new SuperDuty, it's always awesome to check out these trucks because they are just massive. If you are in the market for towing, you need a truck this size, this is a great option to go with. For the SuperDuty 2, Not a whole lot of changes aside from the headlights up front, maybe this cup holder trim piece that I showed earlier, but you pretty much have the same truck. A few different engine options that are still available, just depending on your preference and what you are doing with this kind of truck. Now, these are always impressive to me because we don't have any weight on it right now. If I give it some gas, for weighing over 7,000 pounds, it gets up and moves. It's not a 0 to 60 type of vehicle, but if you want a truck that's quick, this is going to get up to speed with an empty truck, of course, and then give you the power that you need when you want to hook up whatever basically that you want to throw behind this. Now, as far as driving this truck, this is the XLT, so it's not fully loaded. Still an expensive truck for not having all of the bells and whistles, but again, you're buying this for its purposes of being a work truck. And while it's an expensive truck, it's still something you're going to see at job sites, and someone is going to use. Pressure washing company, anything like that that you need to put in the back, this is going to give you that amount of room that you need over a mid-sized truck or even a smaller truck than this. But with this XLT, we still have a lot of tech features, which is nice to see. And we'll give it another acceleration. And just like that, up to speed. Now, one thing I will say, driving this $80,000 truck, it is massive, as hopefully you've been able to tell. So in parking lot situations, things like that, you have to just know what you're in, of course, and maneuver a little bit differently than you would in something smaller. In the parking lot, I really haven't had any issues with it. I'm used to driving some trucks like this every now and then, but it is a difference, especially compared to like a smaller size car like in front of us. So you just have to, of course, get used to where to park and things like that. But it's also easy to drive too. It's very wide. We have the mirrors folded in at the moment. So if I fold them out just for a second, it gets to probably over the double yellow with that width. So if you're towing, you just have to have your eyes aware of everything while you are towing with it. But it's easy to drive, very high up, so I have a good visibility of where I am, of course, but keeping it in between the lines. We do have the lane keeping assist, which is helpful if you need it, but it's easy to drive. You get used to the length of it very easily, and I love with the split design for the mirrors, I can have one aimed down at the tires and then one at the top of the back of the bed. So that way I have two visual points for even backing up, which is nice. So I can see curbs or anything, maybe the trailer, something like that. But $80,000 for this SuperDuty. Trucks are getting expensive. It is interesting to see the price increase across the board, not just with the model that I'm in right now. This is with every manufacturer. Trucks are getting more expensive, but they're also getting more capabilities, more technology, able to tow more perhaps, or do it more fuel efficiently. But it's a nice truck. If you are in the need for a work truck, this is on the top of my list. Going with a Ford SuperDuty. Definitely has a lot of nice features, easy to drive, easy tech to use, nothing too confusing, and very comfortable too if you're putting a lot of seat time behind the wheel for your job or the fun activities that you enjoy. But I think that's going to wrap it up for today's video, checking out this 2023 Ford F250 SuperDuty XLT. Once again, a huge shout out to Mooresville Ford for providing this truck for me today. Check out their website. Also give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.